Hi everyone. Sorry about the delay. That's a first for me, but I knew it was going to happen sooner or later. So I think I posted a message that said we would start at 7:30. I finally got it to work, so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to wait to see if anybody joins, and we can move on from there. So let me send a note. I'm looking to see if I'm live in my Facebook. Oh, I am live. I'm looking on my little iPad. So I'm going to send a message and just let everyone know. Figured it out. So if you're waiting, I can't talk and type at the same time. I'm so sorry. Give me just a second. All right, figured it out. Join me. Yes. Okay, very good. Gosh, guys, that's a first. Hopefully it didn't get me too terribly frazzled so that I can at least share the cards with you. But I'm looking to see if anybody's joining. Looking for someone just to say hi in the comments. I'm not going to hurry up and get started because I did say that we would start at 7:30, but I didn't know how long it was going to take me to figure it out. So let's talk about Halloween. Did you guys have a nice Halloween? Mine was very, very quiet. And the reason it was so quiet is my husband is down sick with the stomach flu. It's not been good. Thank goodness we've got 2 floors. He's been living on the lower floor. We've got a guest room down there, so he's been staying there. And of course, I've been upstairs. Now my studio is down here, but I just go into my studio and shut the door. But he's missed 4 days of work so far. So on Halloween, we just turned out the lights. I just didn't want all the little kitties coming here and being exposed to these germs. The problem is that they started trick-or-treating earlier than it was dark. So we had a few doorbells. We just didn't answer. The dog barked a little bit, but it was fine. I mean, I missed seeing everyone. I missed seeing my grandkids. My grandkids did some trick-or-treating, and they just stayed close to home. It was really cold out on Halloween. Not anything like it was today. Wouldn't today have been a perfect day for Halloween? But it all turned out fine, and I got to see pictures, so I'm happy. And we've got a program at work because a lot of people will get, somebody's connected. I see a heart, but I don't know who it is. Say something so I know you're here. We've got a program at work where everybody can bring the candy that they've collected over Halloween, and we send it off to our servicemen. So I saw a note this afternoon that said that they were very grateful about how generous everybody was. So everybody goes out and does their trunk or treating. Hi, Krista. Thank you for joining. I'm so sorry I'm late. It was kind of a crazy start to the evening, technical difficulties. But I was just talking about Halloween and how everybody goes out and collects up all this candy, and then they don't know what to do with all the candy because they don't want to eat it all. So they donate it to our servicemen. So that was really nice. So what I'm going to do to get started is I just want to share with you a couple of just updates, if you will. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring this screen up. I wanted to share the new kit that they just released this week. This is a really, really cool kit. It's called the Best Destination Kit, and I was reading about it, and it says it's got, it's a peekaboo trifold. So I don't know if you can see, but there's like windows, and there's like, it's a trifold, and it's peekaboo. So I was gonna pull up a couple of other pictures just so that you can see all the pieces that go with it. And then this is the stamp set that goes with it. But I'm just like, gosh, they're getting really cool with their kits. I've always thought they've had cool kits, but they're getting really, really cool with their kits now. The other thing that I wanted to just touch on, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it because I feel like I talk about it Every class, this is, Thursday live, and it's a to-go class. And the to-go class is you can receive the kit for free when you place an order in my online store. So this is just a kind of a reminder of that, how that all works. And if you want more information on that, you can actually go to my website at aprildaviscreations.com, and all the information's there. So I'm not going to read through all that. I've got it up for you guys to look at it. You already know about it, but just in case I have somebody new join me, I want to make sure that they know about it well. And that also reminds me, I'm trying to grow this channel. So if you guys would please, if you like what you see and you're enjoying the classes, please like and share so that I can grow this class, this channel, and more of you can join me. So let me get back to where we're going to go, and I'm going to get started with sharing with you what it is that we're going to do tonight. So tonight we have ventured out of fall and we're moving into the holidays. And the set that I've chosen to feature is called Beary Christmas. It's a cute bundle of a Beary Christmas polar bears. So we've got, I'm going to say Mama, Papa, and Baby Bear. I don't know, but we've got 3 polar bears. We've got some trees. We've got some sentiments, some packages, some snowflakes. So for the next 3 Facebook Lives, I'm going to be featuring this particular bundle along with the punch. Now let's have a chat for just a second, because I plan these classes well in advance. And I check on a regular basis to make sure that these products are available. And my punch has not been available. They kept saying it was going to be available November 6th. And I'm like, that's cool. We can do November 6th. The class is on November 2nd. It's only 4 days. If anybody's interested, then, they can wait until November 6th to order it. This morning I checked, and now it's not available until November the 20th. So they're having a difficult time getting it in. But I wanted to go ahead and talk about it anyway, because you can see how simple this punch is. I'm trying not to get the reflections in it so you can get a good picture of it. Certainly it would be fun if we could punch, and I have fun punching with it. It's a simple punch. But you know what? You can also fussy cut this. So I'm like, I'm not going to abandon this bundle that I was planning to highlight for the next few weeks, because I've got some really cute cards that I want to share with you. We're just going to fussy cut the bear until the bear punch comes back. And I don't know, we'll maybe just continue to fussy cut. So let's go ahead, and I just wanted to share with you that we are doing, not necessarily this suite, but we are doing the designer series paper. Of course, I just showed you the stamp and the punch. We're using the Snowflake Sky 3D embossing folder, and then we're also going to be utilizing the Balmy Blue sparkle ribbon. So there's a number of things in this that we're going to utilize. So let me show you the cards. You might have seen a preview of them in my to-go highlight, but these are the 3 cards that we're doing tonight. This one's a fun one because the flap hides behind the bear, and the bear actually holds the card closed. Then we've got a bear that it's fun because the way that the card is built, the designer series paper's on the inside of the card, but we shorten the front of the card so that everything, lies together. And then we've just got a simple, sweet little card with the mama bear, if you will. So I'm going to call Mama Bear, Daddy Bear, and in the upcoming classes, we will have Baby Bear featured as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with this particular card. I'm going to pull out the kit so you can see everything that comes in it. You've got your Misty Moonlight base. You have the inside of your card, basic white. You have, thank you, Krista, I love the bears too. We've got some designer series paper we're going to use, more Misty Moonlight for the tag. This is for the inside of the card. Then we've got more basic white for the tag and for the bear. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the stamping first. So I'm going to pull out the pieces that we're going to stamp on, and we'll get that piece of it done first. And let me get my Stampin' Pierce mat, because these are photopolymer stamps, as you can see. And again, if you're just watching me for the first time, the reason that I use the piercing mat is to give a little bit of cushion to our photopolymer stamps, because they don't have any cushion to them. So I just get a better stamp when I do that. So this piece of cardstock happens to be the stamp, or the piece for my bear. So let's go ahead and get my bear stamped first. And we're going to use Memento ink, the Tuxedo Black. So I want to make sure I get a good coverage on it. I'm looking through, and then we're just going to go ahead and stamp our bear. So since we're not going to be punching our bear tonight, even though I have the punch, you can't get the punch yet, so I'm going to fussy cut. Okay, so we've got our bear. I'm going to set our bear aside for just a second. And I'm going to go ahead and get this stamp cleaned off so that I can move on to my next piece. And I'm using my Simply Chamois to do all my cleaning. Now you'll notice on the inside we have Mama Bear. So I'm going to take the bigger piece, and I've got Mama Bear here, and pull out my Memento Black again. And we'll get her stamped. And we're going to put her right down here in this lower corner. There we go. Clean up this one. And then I'm going to pull out my Real Red. And the sentiment that we're going to utilize is Christmas is, I should turn it over. Christmas is better together. So the bears are going to be together. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp it, and then we're going to die cut it out of the tag. We've got a couple of pieces that we need to die cut, so I thought I would do all the die cutting at the same time. So let me go ahead and get this stamped, and I'm just going to double check. Yeah, got it. Good, good, good. And let's go ahead and I don't have to be perfect on this piece because of the fact that I am going to cut it out, but I'm going to try. Okay, so let's clean this off. Oops. And then I'm using the Something Fancy dies. I've actually already got them out, but Something Fancy set bundle is basically sentiments, but inside it comes with all the various dies. And so I've already got the die out that we're going to utilize. It's this die here. So let me go ahead and get that lined up, and then we'll put in our cut and emboss. So let me get this lined up. Probably about right there. Works for me. I'm going to pull this out of the way. I'm going to pull in my mini cut and emboss. We have our cutting plates. I'll make our little sandwich. Put this in and crank it through. Okay, we're not done yet. We've got one more to go. But I'm going to go ahead and pull the tape off of this very carefully. I don't want to, sorry, I know you guys can't see. I'm going to, pull it off so we're not tearing anything. There we go. Okay, so now we've got our label. Put this back out of the way. And then what we're going to do is we are going to create another label out of the Misty Moonlight. And this is a long label. This is the die we're going to be utilizing. And you can see that the die is much shorter than the label. But I need the label to be longer because I need it to be able to tuck in behind my Papa Bear. So how do I make it longer when my label, my die is so short? Let me show you how we do that. So we're gonna take our sandwich again. What do you use to hold the die down so it doesn't move? I just have, you can use Post-it note tape. This is kind of like a Post-it note tape, and I reuse it over and over and over again until it is, I can't use it anymore. But you can find tape like this in a number of places. Washi tape is another one. The reason I don't use washi tape as much is because I find that washi tape, once you run it through the die cut, the pressure sometimes makes it stick more, and it sometimes will tear the paper. So a Post-it note is a great adhesive, if you will, to hold these down. And that's basically what this tape is. It's just in a roll instead of a Post-it note. So we're going to talk about how we are able to cut the top of this die without cutting it all out. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up at the top. You can see that the die is pretty much the width of my label, if you will. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape that down again, and I've got it hanging off the edge of my plate. I don't know if you can see that or not, but here's my plate, and I'm going to bring the die, the part that cuts it, I'm going to bring it and I'm going to hang it off my plate. So really the only thing that's going to get cut, if there's a little bit of edge in there, it'll cut the edges, but it's mostly going to cut the top. So let me go ahead and put this in and move my stamps out of the way so I have room to crank, and we'll crank this through. So I've cranked it through. It's cut off the top. You can see left pieces. I'm going to pull my tape off very carefully. The pressure really makes the tape stick. That's why I can reuse it again and again. And there was just a little bit of the die cutting on this edge. I'm just going to kind of even that out just a little bit. It's not a big deal. It's going to be covered up. But you can see now that because we had it hanging off of the plate, we were able to save this extra piece. So I don't have to worry about that. So, fun little tip. You can do the same thing if you want to shorten it. Maybe you need a shorter label and you don't want to cut it as big as it is. You can actually do the reverse effect and cut a shorter label. So anyway, all right, let's go ahead. We've got all of our stamping done. I'm going to save the bears for last. And let's go ahead and put this together. Now, the other thing that I learned, I've been utilizing the white and silver sheer ribbon, and I was checking today, and of course, this is so popular, everybody wants it, and it's not available now until the 20th. And I'm like, darn, okay, that's fine, we'll go to something else. So I brought out my, it's called iridescent ribbon. It's white. It will still work with my cards. So I just had to be flexible. So, oh, you know what I didn't do? Oh my goodness. Okay, we're gonna go back and do this. It'll be fine. But there's a piece on the inside and I just forgot about it because I'm like, how am I gonna string my ribbon? So I'm gonna have to do one more pass through. Here's this little piece that's going to put the little hole in the top of my label. Okay, so let's go ahead, pull it back out again. This is my cutting plate. I'm gonna lay my label down. I want you guys to be able to see. I'm gonna just line it up here. Normally what I would do is I would do it all in the same cut. But since I forgot, I'm gonna run it through now. I got that lined up. I'm gonna just bring it back and forth. Pull this out. Ugh. Sticky, sticky. I don't know if you guys can see. Okay. Now I have my little hole for my label. Fun, fun. Let me put this off the side so I don't lose it. And let's get this out of the way. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is the way that this is set up is the ribbon is layered through. Let's see how I want to do this. I need to have it go up through here. Can you guys see? Come up through here. And then it's going to go around the back. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie a bow. So I want to make sure I get enough ribbon out so that I can tie my bow. I'm going to cut off with my ribbon scissors the edge of this. And then we're going to tie the bow. And then we will adhere the rest of the sentiment. So let's go ahead and get this tied. I'm trying to make sure that I'm tying it tight. Need to catch it. All right, start again. Sometimes I get them right out of the cart, and sometimes it's like, try and again. So let's get this tight. I'm gonna shape it up. Okay, that looks like a good bow. Let's go ahead and angle our ends. Let's see. Let's go this way. Okay, now that one's too short, so I'm going to short this one up too. All right, now we're good. Okay, so now what we can do is we can take this sentiment and tuck it in up underneath the bow. So I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back in the corners, and then I'll adjust the bow a little bit more so that the sentiment can be seen. Whoops. I don't want to miss any of your questions, Krista, so I'm looking up. I'm trying to get better at that because normally I'm busy creating and I don't look up and see if anybody's asked any questions. All right, so let's tuck this under, and I'm just going to center it from top to bottom. This needs to come down just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take our card base and we're going to decorate our card base. So we'll move all of this material off to the side. I'm going to fold the card base in half. And one of the things that you've probably noticed is that it's not a full front. So I have to cut it. So I'm going to bring my trimmer in. I need to cut off about 2 1/4 inches. So I'm going to bring this in and I'm just going to cut off at 2 1/4 inches. You can use this piece for another day. And then we're going to align this piece on this side, and we'll adhere this piece on this side, which happens to be the back. So let's go ahead and get these glued down. And this paper is directional, so I do have my trees facing the right direction. Ask me why I'm pointing that out. I'm not, I'm going to volunteer too much information, but sometimes you do have to pay attention to the direction of your card. Let's get this other side centered. And we're going to center it right here. Can slide it around if I need to slide it around if it's not centered the way I want it. That looks good. Okay, so the next part then is to adhere this. But what I'm going to do is before I adhere this, we're going to go back to the bears for just a second. We've got fussy cutting to do. And the other thing we're gonna do is we're gonna basically, let me see, I think I'm gonna use this. This is our alcohol markers. They're called our Stampin' blends. And what I wanna do is I wanna just add a little dimension to the bears. So last time I did it, it was a little dark. I wanted to go a little bit lighter, so we're gonna try this color. This is light gray granite. And I'm just gonna use the nub end of the blends. The blends have two ends. They have a nub end. Let's see if I can get that so you can see it. They have a nub end, and then they also have a brush end. But I need to have a little bit more control, so I'm gonna use the nub end. And basically what you're gonna do is you're just gonna take your marker and you're gonna go along the edge of the bear. And it just adds a little bit of a highlight, it adds a little bit of dimension. I don't always use this color. A lot of times I will use a very, very soft blue, if you will. And I think I'll be able to show that to you in one of the other cards. But you can highlight the entire bear, or you can just highlight part of it. I'm just going along the edge of the bear. And then we'll put some on his dots, and I'm gonna do a little bit on his ear. And then we're gonna do same thing for Mama Bear. So go ahead and highlight that. And it just makes them pop a little bit. You know, these are polar bears, they're white. And so you wanna be able to give them a little bit of definition so they're not just white, they kind of pop out a little bit. So let's go ahead and finish her up. And then I can get her posted, or, you know, down on the did I get her ear? Let's get her ear. Okay, very good. So just something simple. I'll bring it up so you can see a little bit better. It's not significant. If I didn't tell you about it, maybe you would have noticed, maybe not. I did go with a lighter color. You can see with this bear, it was much darker. And I decided to try light this time, so I like it. So let's go ahead and get her centered. I'm also missing a piece. Let me see if it's in here. Ah, it is. This is an important piece. My little heart. I need my little heart. Okay, so let's go ahead and get her down. And she's just basically, isn't it funny? I've named them Mama, Papa, and Baby. I don't even know if that's true, but my bears, that's what we got. So center this in here. So I'm centering between these edges, and then I'm also centering from top to bottom as best I can. Sometimes I have to turn it sideways just so that I can do a little bit of wiggling to make sure I've got it. And I don't want to lose my heart. Okay, so now we can take this and center it. Make sure that the edges are even on this side of it, and then we can adhere this. And I think I'm going to have to move my little ribbon a little bit just so that my Christmas can show up. But we're going to put this on with dimensionals again. So I'm going to hit each of the corners. And I'm going to do one in the center, just because you've heard me say it before, I'm sure. I don't like middle sags, so I put one in the center to help prevent the sag in the middle. So let's get these backs off, scooch them out of the way. And then we're going to take this piece and we're just going to center it about right here. I'll lay that down. Okay, so now we've got this. Uh-oh. So I knew better. And I did it anyway. Let me see if anybody called me out on it. I can't put dimensionals on the back at the ends because then it will hold the card closed, which is what exactly it did. So let me take these dimensionals off. I have another tool. I'm pretty sure it's here. Yep, it is a little adhesive eraser. And so basically what I can do is I've got some extra adhesive here from the dots, the dimensionals. I can just go ahead and move that away. So, all right, now it's all good. I do have a little bit of paper issue here, so we're gonna figure out what to do with that later. But I need to adhere my bear. My bear cannot be adhered yet because we have not done the fussy cutting part. So let's go ahead and pick up our snips, and we're just very quickly going to fussy cut around him. I like to leave a little bit of white around my border when I'm fussy cutting. Not a lot, just a little bit. You can do however you choose to. I don't want to snip off his ear, so I am probably going to have a little bit more. There we go. The other thing you might notice as I fussy cut is I'm really working to turn the paper versus, turn my scissors. Obviously, I have to work my scissors to get them to cut, but I'm really trying to keep my scissors straight, and then I'm just turning the paper to get my cutting done. So we're almost done. Just got to get his little legs taken care of. Really, of all the fussy cutting that I've done in my life, this bear is one of the easier ones to do. Some of them get pretty detailed. That's why I love it when they have dies or they have punches, because then I don't have to fussy cut. I don't hate fussy cutting. It's just, if I could punch or die, I'd rather do that. Let's see. Okay. Almost done here. I'm going to get rid of that piece so that I don't have to mess with it anymore. Almost done. Going to cut that off, and then we'll do this. Trim that up just a little bit. It's a little wide. Okay, very good. Our bear is all punched. He's ready to be adhered. And from learning my lesson, he basically needs to be adhered so that only his tail end is adhered, so that we can tuck it the flap up underneath his head. So I'm just going to take dimensionals, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my mini dimensionals so that I can get down close to his legs. Whoops. Here, and then we'll do a big dimensional here, and then I think we can get another big dimensional in here. And then, yeah, we'll put one down here on his leg again. So he's very sturdy down here with his dimensionals, but he's open on the front part so we can tuck up underneath his head. So let me pull this away as well. We're going to line him up on the very edge of the card. And then I just wanted to show you, okay, now it's holding the card closed. When you open and close the card, all you have to do is pull the card out. That way you don't really bend his head. You just pull it out. But we have one more thing that we have to do, and that is adhere our heart, because they're sweethearts. So let me go ahead and put a little dot here for the heart. I'm going to use my take your pick side with the little, it's not adhesive, it's kind of a putty, but I can use it to pick up my heart, and then I can place my heart here. So now we've got the heart adhered. We can close this up. And of course, Christmas is better together. And now they're together. Isn't that sweet? Okay, that's card number 1. Let's move into card number 2. But I got to clean my mess up. So let's get all this scrap and dimensional backs and everything. I'm going to get them all cleaned up and put them in my trash bin over here. And then we will bring in the kit for card number 2. So remember, this is card number 2. There's a few things that we need to do with it as well. So I'm going to pull out all the pieces that we have. We've got a very vanilla card base. We have Night of Navy cardstock, and I've already embossed the Night of Navy cardstock in our Snowflake Sky 3D embossing folder. So really pretty. Let me see if you can get an idea of what this looks like. But we're going to do that. And then we've got green for our tree. This is Mossy Meadow. More vanilla for our tag that we're going to stamp our sentiment on. We've got basic white for our bear. We're going to stamp our bear. And then we have a piece of designer series paper for the base of our cardstock. So I'm going to go ahead. Normally I start with the stamping, but we're going to have some fun. I'm going to go ahead and fold the card base in half. And this card base also needs to be cut. So it needs to be cut about 1.5 inches from the bottom. So I'm going to bring in my trimmer again, measure up 1.5 inches. Take this piece off. And then what we can do is we can adhere the designer series paper to the bottom of the cardstock. So we'll go ahead and do that. I need to remember I need to keep myself in the camera view so you guys can see what I'm doing. Yell at me if, oh, hi Judy, thank you for joining. Hi Mom, I'm so glad you guys are all joining me. Okay, so we're gonna get this lined up here at the bottom, and then we'll close it, and now we're going to add the Night of Navy cardstock to the top. We're going to go ahead and center it, and then you can see where our label's going to go. So let me go ahead and get this adhered as well. And I'll go ahead and get this centered. Okay, so we can work with that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do some stamping. But before we can do some stamping, I need to do some cutting. So let me bring out my little cut and emboss again. And this time we're going to use the dies from the Nested Essentials set. So let me pull this one out so you can see. It's not the largest one, it's the second to the largest one, but it actually fits really well across the card. So let me turn this so you guys can see. I've got my cutting plate. I've got my very vanilla cardstock here. I'm going to grab a piece of the tape just to hold it in place so that I can run it through. I'm looking for the top. Let's see, where's the top of my, here it is, my other part of my sandwich. So let's go ahead and line these all up, and then we'll crank this through. So now we have our label that we're going to stamp on. And then the other thing that we need to cut is the tree. So we've got a piece of Mossy Meadow. I'm going to pull out my tree die. This die is actually from the Merriest Trees stamp set. We actually are going to be looking at these towards the latter part of November. But I am going to go ahead and utilize the tree die. So let's go ahead and get it down. I think I could get by without having to tape it down. Just get this lined up and crank it through. There we go. So now we have our tree. So let me pull this stuff out of the way, put my cut and emboss back over here so I don't have to worry about it. And now what we can do is we can start doing some stamping. So I'm going to start with the tree. Let me pull this die out of here. I'm going to start with the tree. I wanted some dimension to the tree. It just didn't have any dimension. So I also pulled the stamp out of the Merriest Trees die set. You can see that this is the stamp that I'm utilizing, this one right here. And basically, I'm going to use my favorite color of all time. Christy, you know this. It's Pretty Peacock. So I'm going to pull out my Pretty Peacock and I'm going to stamp my tree. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take it and I'm going to center it over this tree, line it up as best I can, and this will allow me to give this tree some dimension so that we can kind of see the, you know, the pine needles and stuff. So can you see what it did to it? It added dimension there. So let's go ahead and clean this stamp off. We'll set the tree aside. And now we're going to pull out our, and you know what? The thing I want to show you about my Simply Chamois, this is one of those stamps that it's not easy to clean because there's so much dimension to it. So I can actually pull my Simple Chamois out of its case, which is just a card stamp case, and I can do a better job of getting it clean. So just a little tip. Okay, move this off to the side. We're gonna bring this in. I'm going to grab my Real Red ink. And we are going to stamp Warm Wishes off to the left-hand side. So let me go ahead and get this inked up. I can tell just by looking through it that I didn't have it inked up quite the way that I needed it to. So let me pull this down and we're just gonna stamp probably right about here. Okay, very good. We'll clean this stamp off. And I have one more to stamp. Make sure I get that clean. Get these stamps out of the way. Close this up for now. I don't need it just yet, but I'm going to need it again. And I'm going to find my piece for my bear. I've got ink on my hand. Can you see it? I got it on my paper. So that's why I'm always trying to close things up, because I get ink on me. But I'm going to flip it over so nobody knows. Okay, so let's grab my bear stamp again. This is the Papa Bear. I'm looking for my Papa Bear. Where is he? Here he is. I'm going to pull out my Memento ink. Get him inked up. Okay. And I'm going to fussy cut him again. So we're just going to stamp him here for now. Good. Clean him off. But I'm not done with him yet, because I think he needs a scarf. So let me get my scarf. And I have a little scarf stamp. See that? So we're going to stamp that in the ink, the red ink. And I can tell, hold on a second. Got to do some damage control. I've got ink on the outside of this stamp case. So sometimes that happens. Open this up. And I'm going to put his scarf on him. So cute. Okay, so we'll do that. And then I'm going to do to him the same thing that I did to the other bears. I'm going to take my Stampin' Blends again, and I'm just going to do some highlighting to him. This time, I'm going to use the Light Pool Party. I'm again going to use the bullet tip, but I'm just going to outline his edges and just give him a little bit of a glow so that he stands out a little bit. Doesn't take much time at all to do this, but I think it really adds to the bear. Hopefully you can see me doing this. To just kind of highlight him. And again, you know, I mentioned before, he's a white polar bear. He just needs to have a little bit of, I don't know, detail so that he can stand out a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and do his little dots here. And again, I'll bring it up. It's very, very subtle. It's not significant at all, but to me, it makes a big difference. You can choose to do it or not. Now we're gonna go ahead and fussy cut him out. Remember, I'm fussy cutting because our punch is not available right now. And so rather than not do these cards because the punch isn't available, I wanted to show you that we can do alternative with this and just fussy cut instead. So let me get around his ear. I'm gonna cut this piece off, it's getting him away. Cut around his ear. And we'll just do this really quickly, and then we can start putting this card together. I think I mentioned fussy cutting isn't necessarily the most fun thing for me, but in a pinch, it works. And in fact, we're not done fussy cutting because the next card that we have, Mom and Papa Bear are actually getting stamped on the main piece, the main card stock, but we are introducing Baby Bear in the next card. So I will have to fussy cut Baby Bear because we don't have a punch for Baby Bear. So I had already planned on doing some fussy cutting anyway. Okay, almost done. There we go. So we've got Papa Bear cut out. I'm going to move this stuff out of the way, and we are going to start to assemble this card. So the first thing we need to do is add our sentiment. And the sentiment is actually going to line up edge to edge with the card. What I need to remember when I do this, I'm going to figure out where I want it to go. And then I am going to just glue the top portion. So I gave you an example of the last card is when you glue past where you're supposed to glue. This one, we're just gonna do the top portion, and I'm gonna get it lined up here. Let's see, edge to edge, edge to edge. And I'm gonna turn it over and slide it just a little bit. Got a little bit of adhesive on the back here. No fear, we've got a little adhesive eraser, so I'll go ahead and clean that up so we don't have any sticky there. And now we've got this piece down, so next step is to add our tree. And our tree is gonna come down just below the label, just a little bit. So I'm gonna start putting dimensionals on. Just a little bit higher up. So we're gonna do each, and then I'm just gonna come up the middle for you. Okay, so now we've got our tray. Let's go ahead and get it adhered. Off to the side, down just a tad, probably about right here. Looks good to me. And now what we'll do is we'll add our polar bear. So the polar bear gets dimensionals as well. And one for his head. Nah, I'm gonna actually keep his head free because I can kind of see, I don't want it to adhere to this piece of the cardstock. So we're just gonna keep his head free. Maybe what I'll do is I'll take a little mini dimensional and I'll put it down here where his legs are. Okay. So we'll go ahead and do this. And then we only have one more thing we need to do and this card will be finished. So let's go ahead and get him centered up here. There we go. So now we've got the card pretty much done, except for now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring out our festive pearls. The Festive Pearls are the free gift that you get when you place an order of $50 or more with your to-go kit. And because I'm going to include it with the snow, I am going to use my silver. So I'm going to pick up just a couple of these. I'm going to place one here, and I'm going to place another one. I'm using my take your pick tool to help me pick these up, and then I'm just going to put another one like right over here, and our card is done. So pretty and so fun, and you can't even tell we fussy cut, could you? Okay, so let's move this off to the side. We're going to bring in our last card, and I'm going to clean all of this up. The last card is a very simple card, but it's so fun to make because it is so simple. Sometimes when you're making cards, you just want to do something that is so cute but yet so simple. So this is our last card that we're going to make. We've got the Night of Navy card based. We've got a piece of designer series paper. We have a piece of real red that's going to be our backing. And then we've got our square that is cut out of my favorite dies, my staple that I have to have, my Stylish Shapes dies. This is the largest square. And you can kind of see they've got like, I'm not going to call it stitching, but it really is stitching. I guess if you were stitching on a sewing machine and you didn't have any thread, then you would just have the holes. I think of stitching that are a little bit longer, and so I'm thinking of stitching that you would use if the thread were there and it would move from hole to hole. But anyway, that's just a little side note, information that you may or may not have needed, but I thought I would share that. So let's go ahead and stamp our Mama Bear. We're going to stamp her in the Memento Black ink. Make sure I get good coverage on her. And we're going to stamp her right down in the center. So right here. Okay, let's clean this off. And we're going to stamp Merry Christmas across the top in real red. And the Merry Christmas, I believe, comes from the Very Cute set. Merry Christmas. So let me pull my Merry Christmas out. I know I have it right here. And oops, almost got my dimensionals in my ink because I didn't close it up. Where's my real red? Right here. Make sure I get good coverage. I want to just double check. Okay, that looks good. We're going to go right across the top. Okay. Oh no! All right. I did this on purpose so I could teach you guys a lesson. No. It's a lesson for me. I got my ink, my block in my ink, and as a result of that, I actually, when I was pressing down, I rocked my stamp back and it got onto my paper. So this particular one, I'm going to turn over. And we're going to do it again. Since I've already got the Merry Christmas out, I'm going to do the Merry Christmas first. Oh, so it happens to the best of us. I do it too. So let me go ahead and stamp this. I'm not going to rock it. And I also need to be careful when I'm inking up my stamps not to get my blocks in it. Sometimes I can get by, but other times it catches me and then I get in trouble. So let's pull this out and we'll pull our little bear back in again, our Mama Bear. No harm done. Thank goodness there's two sides to every card. So we'll go ahead and get her stamped again. Right about here, I would say. Very good. And you guys never knew that I had my little faux pas. Okay. So let's go ahead and now we can actually, well, let's do what we did before. I'm going to pull out another ink blend that we've got. This is actually a light petal pink. And what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to use the little nub and I'm going to give Mama a little rosy cheek. So we're going to put a little rosy cheek right there for her. And then I'm going to very quickly highlight her as well. Only we're going to use the color that I chose for tonight instead of the darker gray on the original card. So let me go ahead and get this done. Gosh, I just think it just kind of finishes off the bear instead of it looking just like I just stamped it. Okay. Quick. Now what we can do is we can line or adhere the bear to the real red layer. So let's go ahead and put some glue here and get this adhered. We'll just center it. Okay, and then we're going to take our card base. Let me move this stamp pad out of the way. We're going to take our card base, fold it in half. I'm going to burnish the edge. We're going to take our designer series paper, our presents, and adhere them. So we'll get this centered appropriately. Trying to have even edges on each side, or at least from the top and the bottom. And then we'll put some dimensionals on the back of this so we can pop it up. And one for the center. Pull these off. And she is going to be not centered in the middle. She's going to be down low a little bit and over to the right a little bit. Just kind of offset. We're going to put her there. And then I went ahead and I tied a bow out of our, what did I call it? It's called the, what is it? The iridescent bow. So I'm going to go ahead and use a glue dot for that. Oops. I think we're getting close to the end of my glue dots too. But we'll put a glue dot with my Take Your Pick tool. Right about here. And then we'll take our bow and just place it down. And now this card is done. See how fast it was? Oh, Wesley says hi. Hi, Autumn. Hi, Tony. Good to see you as well. So this one is a little bit different, obviously, because I used a different bow. But again, oh, you know what? You guys didn't call me out. I think it needs a scarf. She needs a scarf. Let's go ahead and give her a scarf. We can still do a scarf right now. So let me do that. I'm looking at her and I'm like, she just looks different. Now I know why. All right, let's go ahead and do the scarf real quick. Oh, we're gonna try it again. I didn't push down enough. There we go. So she's got a scarf. It's a little bit different because of the layering, but we do have a scarf for her now. So fun. Let me clear all of this up so I can share with you all the cards that we made tonight. We have these two, the sample and what we made. Then we've got this one, sample, what we made. And then we've got this one as well. So Beary Christmas, how fun and so pretty. So I'm so glad to see all of you here tonight. Gosh, and you're commenting, so I know you're here. When you don't comment, I don't know you're here. So thank you for commenting. What I want to do, and I'm going to come back up and I'm going to chat with you, is I wanted to let you know that next week's Facebook Live is going to be a recorded live. It will still be present at 7 o'clock on Thursday, so you can still plan for that, but it's going to be recorded. I have to travel for my business. I'm leaving for Boston on Monday, and I'm not going to be home until late Thursday night. So I didn't want to not have a Thursday night live, so I'm just recording it ahead of time. You'll love the cards. It's still in the Beary Christmas Suite. We're just doing a different color scheme. So I hope you guys still tune in for the Thursday night live, even though it's going to be recorded. And then, of course, once we're done, I will also post to Facebook. So again, thank you all for joining me. Sorry about the technical issues earlier. I got it all figured out. I made notes so that we won't have that problem again. And I'll see you guys all next time. Take care. Bye.